Hi everyone, welcome to the video. Thank you for tuning in. We have some interesting news today. Let's jump straight into it. Bitcoin bashing Democrat Congressman Brad Sherman is urging his colleagues to pass a law that would ban cryptocurrencies in the US. I look for colleagues to join me in introducing a bill to outlaw cryptocurrency purchases by Americans so that we nip this in the bud, he said in a quote. Congressman Sherman, who's from California, made the remarks on the 9th of May at a meeting of the House Financial Services Committee. Sherman says the ban is necessary because crypto threatens to undermine the US dollar and is only useful for criminal activities like money laundering, drug dealing, and tax evasion. Moreover, Sherman notes that crypto evangelists have made no secret of their desire to replace fiat currency, and that is unacceptable to him. So, to quote what he says, an awful lot of our international power comes from the fact that the US dollar is the standard unit of international finance and transactions. Clearing through the New York Fed is critical for major oil and other transactions. It is the announced purpose of the supporters of cryptocurrency to take that power away from us, to put us in a position where the most significant sanctions we have against Iran, for example, would become irrelevant. And he goes on, I won't continue. There's a tweet as well from Coin Center. Now, this kind of goes on him saying he's alarmed by the use of cryptocurrencies and for criminal activity, even though we obviously know that crypto is used for many legitimate purposes and that fiat is obviously used for criminal purposes as well, just for balance, something that's often disregarded. It just goes on about links to terrorism. I'm not going to go on really. I think enough has been said. I don't want to make this a political video. This is the first topic I've ever covered about a politician and their opinion in regards to cryptocurrencies. I know there are others in the space, and I won't delve into politics and name names, that also detest Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Look, I'm glad CCN has reported this because it's critical that I sincerely hope that this ban does not go ahead, especially with America being a very key, being one of the major forces in finance, the most important, you could argue. This is just really frustrating, and I'd just like to draw your attention to various bans that happened in the past with cryptocurrencies. So this is nothing new with all these proposed government bans and sanctions and limitations being imposed on just the general community wanting to engage or to invest in crypto or trade with it. I just want to draw your attention to India. There was an article back in July 2018 talking about this ban on cryptocurrency trading. So, they reversed, I think they imposed the ban and they reversed it, and now there's discussion again to ban it once again, and it is just nauseating. It's so frustrating. I do not understand why these governments it's not that you could say they should concede defeat, but why can't they just accept that cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology and just the cryptocurrencies will be around? They're not going anywhere at all. People think that it's all just the whole technology, or they think that cryptos will just wither in a hole and die and then everything will just go back to normal. No, that's not going to happen. The more they try and stop us, the more we're going to say, no, you need to accept change, and this is a change for the greater good, whether they like it or not. So we have to put the foot down. And they will eventually realize, they will regulate it and see, okay, we're going to make something work for everyone to a certain point. Now, we've got, so as I said, the Indian government here, and then there was, in terms of what Brad Sherman was saying, he was talking about the rise of cryptocurrencies, geez, my goodness, I can't speak today, will undermine the US's ability to impose sanctions on, say, Venezuela, or you've got Iran, and then other countries as well. So then as a consequence, with the US banning the transactions in digital currencies, or at least mostly with the Pedro, and then bans on crypto purchases, especially when it came to cross-border payments. A lot of people are sending remittances and all. And then we've got more Bitcoin bashing. This is actually an opinion piece from Mr. Money Moustache in The Guardian. And again, yeah, more Bitcoin bashing. Just everyone's getting on the Bitcoin bashing bandwagon. So the Bitcoin users in Iran are also struggling with the sanctions imposed by the US, and then I guess the US is just making it more and more difficult to try and transact and then use these cryptos. Now, fortunately, I'm exempt from a lot of this here in Australia. The government seems to be a bit more warm. They've warmed up to the idea somewhat. The way I look at it here is just the governments just want their fair share of tax revenue from crypto, and that's a whole new discussion in itself. I'd rather it be regulated than banned. I think many of us have accepted that to a certain point regulations are necessary, and it's much better than a ban. Looking at disruptive technologies like Uber, for example, in many countries it's been regulated, and despite the teething issues, and then of course rivals like the taxi drivers or the taxi industry having their qualms about it, it's somehow worked, at least here in Australia. So I kind of see this as a model in a way of how cryptocurrencies will be a huge disruptor, but over time with regulation, it's going to work out, and then it'll end up being, from a consumer perspective, amazing, because we're going to have more options, and then we're going to harness the blockchain technology. Anyway, I'm waffling here, but this is a very divisive topic, you could say, and I'm worried that the prices could collapse again if we get all these bans being imposed, because we've been through such a lengthy bear market. The last thing we need is to have any more sanctions or bans with cryptocurrencies. Look, I want to point out the crypto prices for the day. Quick summary on Live Coin Watch here. Bitcoin has not only held above 6,000, but it's continued to grow and showing the steady increase towards 7,000, which is wonderful news. Mostly green throughout the market. EOS is pretty much about close to neutral. Binance coin has dropped. I assume that's in response to the hacking that occurred recently. Stella's kept going down. Some others going down. I just want to point out the big news of the day as well. Other big news too. Litecoin has penned a deal with this blockchain startup Travala. I'm going to talk about this in more detail in a separate video, otherwise this will just get too long. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it if you've listened this far. If you like the video, feel free to give the thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you want to stay up to date with all my content. Comment if you have anything to say or just want to say g'day to me here in Australia. A shout out to everyone around the world listening. Thank you again. I've got links to other videos.